Edward here from erviewer.com. I have another video for you. This is part one of a three-part series for a project that I had completed a couple of months back with a gal named Debra Katz. Debra is a remote viewer. She is a presenter for the International Remote Viewers Association. She is a lecturer. She is a teacher, an author. Debra is very active in the remote viewing community and very active in all things that have to do with spirituality and intuition and that kind of thing. I have some links to her website and her work and her books for those who are interested. She's a great person. I did an interview with Debra in one of my previous videos, if you want to watch it again. Me, Daz Smith, and Debra talking about remote viewing. But Debra had reached out to me, asked me if I was interested in working working a project for her. And I said, sure, I'd be happy to. I had no idea what the target was or what the project was about or anything like that. So she just gave me a set of random numbers and said, get these to me, you got in a couple of weeks or whatever. So I felt good about it, and so I started. I did 2 sessions in one day. I did the first session and I wasn't completed, and I did the second one a few hours later, and then I sent them over to Debra, and then I did a third session based on a movement that she had suggested. What it turned out to be, and this was a very interesting project for me, the target turned out to be a mentally created space, meaning that for one of Debra's classes, her and her students created in their minds a space that they could cohabitate. And they came up with things that would be in this space and all kinds of ideas that they put into it. I think she said they spent a good couple of months or so discussing it and talking about it and adding to it and creating this space, this mental space. They also drew pictures of it and that kind of thing too. A place that they could go to in meditation. That was a safe place, a beautiful place, filled with their ideas and things that were beautiful to them. And so what Debra had come up with was to see if a remote viewer could perceive this space and what they would actually come up with. So the target was not a physical space. It was a mentally created place, a place that existed only in the minds of the people who came up with the project and who put this place together. Here's Debra talking about how she came up with the idea and the execution of the project.
Hi, I'm Debra Katz, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about a project I did with Ed Reardon. I'd like to explain a little bit of the background and what led me to coming up with the idea behind this project, and then how we carried it out, and then the final results. So a couple years ago, several of my students were asking me to come up with a level 3 class for my clairvoyant reading and healing classes. And I had been teaching level 1 and 2 for quite a while, and they wanted more techniques and whatever else I had to offer. So one of the things at the time I was really working hard on was the concept of how can we create an environment that is the most conducive to bringing out the best of our psychic abilities. So not even just can we use the right techniques and have the right inner state, but what can we do to place ourselves in a particular place or morphic field or environment that will bring about our greatest chance for success. Well, I came up with a foundation, and then I thought, that's enough for me. I'm going to come to class tomorrow, and I'm going to have my students all co-create this space together. And so that's exactly what we did. I shared with them the colors and the platform and said, okay, we're all going here now. And then they each came up with contributions. For example, one student came up with that we were all going to sit in these crystal throne seats that were arranged in a circle. Someone else came up with this mirror that we would look through and kind of have magical qualities. Someone else came up with this magical stone, kind of like a, they called it a sorcerer's stone. Another person came up with a crystals jutting out of the ground, and someone else came up with waterfalls, and there was a parrot flying around, and lots of cool things like that. And so we each shared what we wanted to contribute, and then each person would visualize that. And then after that first class, everyone went home or back to their own lives, and then either drew or sketched, or with as either as simple or as elaborate as they wanted the space as they envisioned it. And then we all uploaded it to a private web page. And then just recently I was looking back over those sketches that the students did, and I started thinking, well, I wonder, did we really create an actual space, or did that space really exist? And I was wondering if a remote viewer actually tuned into that space, would they get the same items that we had put in there? And would they have a sense that this was a special place that was especially conducive to operating at a high psychic level of functioning? And would they even know that this was not an actual physical space, but more of a consciousness shared space, something like that? So I thought, well, I know Ed is always looking for interesting targets, so why don't I task him with this? Came up with a target number, a random number that I paired with this whole idea, and then I wrote to Ed, I emailed him, and I just gave him the target number, and I said, would you like to do this? And give him a deadline of about a week or so. And sure enough, he started to send in sessions and did both written sessions and video. And I have to say, initially I was absolutely just blown away, because one of the concepts I always start with, I talk about this in my 3 books, and in every class we always cover grounding first, the idea of having a grounding cord and connecting yourself into the earth. Only with this particular project, I had the students ground themselves into that special dimensional space that we were going to. And sure enough, the very first thing that Ed starts to talk about is the concept of grounding. He also really found that this was an educational setting. It was based on ideas and concepts that were being shared with a group of people. And I thought that was really interesting, because instead of going right to location, which, he's used to viewing locations, and so I figured he'd go into the physical space first, but no, he really spent quite a bit of time going over the whole idea of this that I had created. So he really tuned in not so much initially to the location, but to this whole conceptual idea thing that I had created and the type of environment that we were in. Then he went into the physical location. And as you can see from his sessions, he very much got the seating arranged in a circle. He got a mirror that people were looking through. He got a waterfall. He got something about a Rosetta Stone, which our Sorcerer's Stone was very similar to. So he had so many of those same elements. But I was just thrilled with the work that he did, and I am very excited to work with him again, and I hope you guys will all stay tuned and maybe participate as viewers or in some other capacity in our upcoming projects. Thanks.
So this was very interesting to me in many regards as to how a viewer or anyone could perceive a place that was not physical, that was only existed in the minds of someone else. And that's what was interesting to me. That's what was coming to me, or the strong sensation that was happening to me during this project, was that this was an idea, a belief. This was a belief system. And that's what was coming to me the strongest during this session. So that's what this first one's about. The second and the third one will be out soon, but I hope you find this interesting, and many more to come. 051603. Curving, sloping, point. This feels liquid. Soft. 051603. Okay. Sloping, curving, across, angle, B, energetic, man-made, zero 051603. A wavy, curving, cross, everything solid, energetic, soft, hard, angular, large, blue, whites, shiny, getting an AOL break here, advanced, get back here, brown, hairy, moving, looping, silver, silver, AOL break, snow flake, like this. That deep, dense, curved, dark, looping, AOL break, and Arctica. Green, blue, steep, down, up, across, angular, moving, distant. It will break farming. Diagonal, steep, like that. Steep. Sliding down. Yellow, steep. Solid. I don't know what shape this goes on into, but it's an idea word here. Hubbing, or a hub. One of many, or several. Several. One of several. Several things may be similar in shape or function. Hub. Yeah, this would be like 1 and 2. More than 1. A number of things here. Sensory dimensions and signal. Now the intangible here is multiple functions. Like a series of things or objects that are similar or related. Hard, solid, brown, black, deep, dense, open, flat, moving, Yeah, I do feel a sense of curiosity. Metallic, wooden, moist. Moist, wet, slippery. A series of things are related objects. Related objects, what's that mean? Related objects. Separate. Individual. Individual. Glassy. Sensory dimensions. Yeah. Okay, there's my movement. Says move to thing 1 and describe. Move to thing 1 and describe. Soft, hairy, dense, smooth, inside, above, I can kind of try to draw. Small, medium, size. Curved. Sharp. And deep inside. Grounding. This is an idea. Grounding. Grounding, grounding, grounding. Earthy. What does that mean? Grounding, grounding. Grounding, what does that mean? What is the purpose of grounding? What is the purpose of grounding? Demonstrating. Sinking in. Sinking in. Like grounding an idea. making it a part of. Something. Integrating. Showing. Learning. Like that. Learning and integrating, sinking and demonstrating, grounding it. Becomes part of something. Move to what it becomes part of, and describe it becomes part of something like there's an integration. Integration. Like something melting or forming into something else. The signal like melting wax. An idea. A concept. A project. up with an idea of something. Philosophy. Seems like there are some beliefs behind it, or this. There's some ideas or beliefs behind it. Like it could be solidified or diluted down. Depending on what. A need. Depending on the need. Like a book or books. Theory. Philosophy, thinking. Put into practice.